Most seniors blame age for their leg pain. And honestly, it makes sense. Your legs feel heavier than they used to. You stand up a little slower. The stairs feel steeper. And the walks you used to enjoy, they're shorter now. Or they just don't happen. So, of course, you assume it's just aging. Just how the body goes over time. But here's the thing. What if it's not your age at all? What if something else is going on, something smaller, easier to miss? There's a nutrient that almost nobody's talking about. But your muscles, they need it to work properly. And without it, your legs get weaker, slower, less steady. Research shows that nearly all seniors up to 99% aren't getting enough of it. That's not a typo. And no, it's not calcium. It's not iron. It's not even protein. It's vitamin D. You've probably heard of it. Most people think it's for bones. And that's true, it helps with calcium and bone strength. But what they don't tell you is this. Vitamin D is absolutely essential for muscle function. And your legs, they're made up of some of the biggest, hardest working muscles in your whole body. Now here's the part that really matters. As we get older, our ability to make vitamin D drops a lot. Your skin usually makes it from sunlight, but by the time you hit 70, your skin can be making half as much vitamin D as it did when you were 25. So even if you're going outside, even if you eat pretty well, you still might not be getting enough. And most people aren't. You've been told to eat right, to stay active, to stretch, to keep moving, to not slow down. But nobody told you about this one missing piece. And if your legs have been feeling tired, sore, or just not as strong lately, this could be why. Let's be real for a second. That 99% number, yeah, it's probably a bit dramatic, but the truth is still a wake-up call. In the US, about 4 out of 10 seniors don't get enough vitamin D. In countries like China, it's even worse, more than 7 out of 10. And if you're mostly indoors, or if you live up north, or if you have darker skin, that risk goes up even more. So no, it might not be literally 99% of us, but it's close enough to pay attention. Millions of people, just like you are, walking around thinking they're getting older, when in reality, they're just low on vitamin D. That heaviness in your thighs, that burning in your calves after a walk, the hesitation when you go downstairs, those aren't just signs of time passing. They could be symptoms of something missing. And here's the best part. You can do something about it. And it's not complicated. You don't need to buy a gym membership. You don't need to start training for a marathon. You just need to understand what vitamin D actually does and how to get enough of it. That's where we're headed next. Because this little nutrient, it's the key to stronger legs, better balance, and more confident movement. And once you know how it works, you'll start seeing your body in a whole new light. So let's talk about it. What exactly does vitamin D do that makes such a big difference in your legs? Well, it turns out, it's a lot more than people think. Most folks know it helps with calcium and bone strength. But here's the part no one told you: vitamin D plays a direct role in your muscle function. Inside your muscles, especially in your legs, you've got tiny little receptors. Think of them like light switches. When vitamin D is present, those switches flip on. And when they flip on, your muscles do what they're supposed to do. They contract. They stabilize. They catch you when you trip. They lift you out of a chair. They help you climb stairs, or turn around without wobbling, or step over the dog without falling over. But when you don't have enough vitamin D, those switches stay off, and your muscles, they start to slow down. Not in a dramatic way. You're not going to wake up one day and be unable to move. But little by little, the power fades. You might feel slower getting out of bed. You might feel sore after doing something simple like grocery shopping. You might notice your steps getting shorter, or your legs burning more easily, or your knees feeling a little wobbly. It happens gradually, but it adds up. And here's the science behind it. Vitamin D helps your body absorb and use calcium and magnesium minerals that are critical for muscle movement. It also helps control inflammation in your body. So when you're low on vitamin D, your muscles can't recover properly. You may feel stiff, swollen, or just out of sync. And the research backs this up. One study showed that older adults with low vitamin D had 25% less leg strength compared to those with healthy levels. Another found that just a few weeks of taking vitamin D helped improve balance, gait speed, and muscle control. That's not hype. That's real data. And it lines up with what many people feel in their own bodies often, without knowing why. Now you might be wondering, am I low in vitamin D? The answer is, maybe. The only way to know for sure is to get a blood test. But there are signs, especially when it comes to your legs. Let's go through them. Ask yourself, do your legs feel tired more often than they used to even when you haven't done much? Do you sometimes feel a weird burning or tightness in your calves or thighs after a short walk? Have stairs gotten harder, even though nothing else in your health has really changed? Do you ever feel a little off balance, especially when turning quickly or standing up fast? Do you get leg cramps at night, or feel like your legs are heavy in the morning? Have you had even one small fall or trip in the past year? If you said yes to any of those, your body might be whispering something. It might be saying, hey, I'm missing something. Now remember, these symptoms don't guarantee you're low on vitamin D. Other things like hydration, other nutrients, and overall fitness play a role too. But here's the key. If your body is low in vitamin D, these symptoms tend to show up in your legs first. Why? Because your legs carry most of your weight. They need the most coordination. They're the first to suffer when muscle function starts to decline. And the good news, if vitamin D is the missing link, you can start changing that right now. You don't have to accept weaker legs. You don't have to assume this is just aging, because the truth is this might be the start of getting your strength back. So in the next part, we're going to talk about exactly how to fix it. We'll break down how to safely boost your vitamin D, what to eat, how sunlight helps, what kind of supplements are best, and how to pair vitamin D with other nutrients for stronger, steadier legs. This is where it gets really simple and really doable. So stick around, because your legs deserve better than just getting old. They deserve support. And it starts with giving your muscles the fuel they've been missing. Alright, so we've talked about what vitamin D does and why it matters for your legs. Now let's talk about what you can actually do to fix it. The good news, you don't need a complicated routine, no intense workouts, no special equipment. Just a few simple changes that help your body get the support it's been asking for. Let's start with the easiest one. Sunlight. When sunlight hits your skin, your body naturally starts producing vitamin D. That's why it's called the sunshine vitamin. Try to get about 15 to 30 minutes of sunlight each day. Your arms, face, or legs exposed just a little goes a long way. But here's the catch. As we get older, our skin doesn't make vitamin D the way it used to. By age 70, your skin can be making half as much vitamin D as it did when you were 25. So while sunlight helps, for most older adults, it's not enough by itself. That's where food comes in. Here are a few foods that naturally contain vitamin D. Fatty fish like salmon, sardines, or tuna, egg yolks, fortified foods like dairy, oat milk, almond milk, or orange juice. Now you'd have to eat a lot of those, so food helps, but it's still just one piece of the puzzle. Which brings us to what most seniors actually need to do. Take a supplement. Most health experts recommend 800 to 2000 IU of vitamin D3 per day for adults over 60. Vitamin D3 is the preferred formats, the one your body uses best. But before you start anything, check with your doctors, especially if you take medications or have kidney issues. A simple blood test can tell you exactly where you're starting from. And here's a bonus tip. Vitamin D works better when it's paired with calcium and magnesium. These nutrients help your muscles contract and recover. They also support bone strength, which keeps your legs steady and strong. So if you're taking vitamin D, consider a high-quality multivitamin that includes these two. Or just make sure you're eating magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and beans. And don't forget about protein. Protein gives your muscles the raw materials they need to grow and stay strong. Without enough protein, even with vitamin D, your muscles won't rebuild properly. So aim for a protein source at every meal. It doesn't have to be meat, beans, eggs, tofu, dairy. They all help. When you put all these pieces together, vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, protein, you're not just giving your body a boost. You're giving your legs a reason to feel stronger again. And that's where the momentum starts. Now, before we wrap up, there's one more thing to know. Vitamin D is a key piece, but it's not the only one. If you want to keep going, if you want to rebuild your legs even more, there are other nutrients worth knowing about too. In our next video, we'll break down 5 more leg-saving nutrients, like omega-3 south, potassium, and others that help with strength, coordination, and even circulation. So if this was helpful, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it, because knowledge is power, and your body deserves all the support it can get. Now I want to hear from you. Have you ever tested your vitamin D levels? Have you noticed changes in your legs in the past few years? If this video opened your eyes even just a little, type the number 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and feel free to share why. And if this helped you, tap like so more people can find this message. Share it with a friend or loved one who's been struggling with leg pain or balance. Sometimes the thing we're missing isn't motivation, it's information. And once you know what your body needs, you can finally give it the support it's been asking for all along. Here's the truth I hope you take with you. You're not broken. You're not just getting old. And you don't have to accept weak legs as your new normal. Your legs carry more than your body. They carry your independence, your freedom, your peace of mind. Fuel them well and they'll carry you farther than you thought possible. Your best steps might still be ahead.